Go for it.
Welcome back to Cyber Unfiltered, Cybersecurity Unfiltered, something unfiltered. It says Cyber Unfiltered above me, so we'll go with that.
That works.
Another week, no Matt. Look at this. Guys is ducking us.
Sure is.
Yeah, I had surgery yesterday, so I can't show up. Oh, I see how it is. No, get well, Matt. We're just playing. Last week he just straight up ducked us. So but this week
he was doing Christmas presents or something.
Yeah, it's on his calendar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
But
we made it.
You have a new funny way. You know, people would say that I'll Venmo you that, or I'll Cash App you that, or I'll send Apple Pay you that.
Yep.
We were talking before this, and there's a new one, right? So who's going to Venmo you?
Consensus Health Data Breach Settlement Fund. Apparently, I was included in a data breach back in 2003 for Consensus Health, and I got a postcard in the mail that said, you're eligible for $5,000 if you have documented losses because of the data breach, or you can check the box here and get $75 Venmo to me, or PayPal to me, or direct transfer. They didn't care. They were made all kinds of options to get it there, and check the box. And they also included medical breach monitoring, which I thought was kind of different.
It's just a different name for the same thing.
It was a different thing.
I was reading about this. So, like, one of the things that bugs me, right, is when you have a data breach settlement, any kind of class action, like, people get offered like $25.
Mm-hmm.
In your case, $75, which is actually pretty high. But what courts do is they look at the cost of the data breach monitoring, like the individual monitoring, and they peg that at like a $15 to $20 per month over like 2 years. So they include that as a cost. I'm like, okay, first of all, that's kind of BS, because we've had a lot of stuff breached so much, like I can't stack this stuff. So like if you're gonna give it to me, like give me a lot longer than like 2 years. Like, this is silly. And they're not paying $15, $20 on those large scale class actions when it's like that.
Hell, if it got stacked at this point, I'd have credit monitoring well beyond being dead.
Which is important. Your data lives on forever, even if you don't. Congratulations on credit monitoring. But it's wild to me, like the range. And yeah, it's like if you had your identity stolen, they're like, hey, we'll give you like $7,500. If you didn't, here's $75. Okay, so if you get your identity stolen, I'm pretty sure that it's worth more to you than $7,500, especially considering somebody probably did something really bad with it.
Yeah, but for that one, how can you, what kind of documented proof would they have been taking, or you could claim was because of that?
Ooh, take the picture of the car that somebody wouldn't bought in your name and send it to them.
Yeah,
I know somebody who had a boat bought in their name from getting their identity stolen. And
I got a call last week that somebody in one of my networking groups called me and goes, I'm having some problems. And apparently he didn't have MFA on his personal email, and they got into his Nordstrom account. They were ordering and picking up $800 sneakers and other stuff. And it was a couple days before he realized it. Right on his Nordstrom charge card.
Like, how far away were they picking this stuff up?
They were picking it up at the store.
No,
in Newark.
So this is like in the state. Like, yeah. So it didn't even look suspicious that he was ordering stuff. Well, he wasn't, but like that somebody was ordering stuff for pickup.
In-store pickup. And another incident that happened because of his email was they spent his Marriott points. They went somewhere.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, well, call the Marriott. You can get photographs of who's checking in, I'm sure.
Well, Nordstrom too, probably the people picking the stuff up, right?
Yeah, he ultimately reached out to Nordstrom and stopped a couple orders that were pending before they got picked up. But
that's wild. So instead of money mules, these people are like clothing mules.
I don't know. Is there really a resale market for if you buy a pair of $800 sneakers? I guess you can sell them.
Oh, sneakerheads, dude. Come on now. Don't
I guess you
don't
can
get us canceled.
Flip them.
Yeah, don't get us canceled on this. Like, their sneakerheads are a thing, man. There's money in sneakers. So,
Oh, speaking of money mules, I was going through YouTube this morning because it was I needed to have some downtime because I hurt my hand, and I ran across a video. You've seen the spam baiter in the past, where
yep.
where he's they're scamming the scammers. Well, this one was a sting operation for money mules, and there was a guy in I think they were in Ohio, and it was a sting operation, and the money mule actually flew. They put the money mule on a plane in New York, flew him to Ohio to drive to the guy's house to get the money. Yeah, they got three guys in this week-long sting operation where they had the whole neighborhood staked out. It was crazy. And the guy shows up and says, "Whose car is this?" "Oh, I just rented it at the airport."
Man, there's things. There's a market for everything. I mean, it's funny how humans are involved with everything. We're talking about money mules, there's drug mules. There were ATM mules at some point. I don't know if they called them that. Where like they'd hack ATMs like Mexico, and they'd have people go pick up the money because they could just like shoot the money out and stuff like that. Like, there's things for everything. But this isn't really mule related, but this is dealer. Have you bought a car recently? Because if you have, or you've went to a dealer and had your credit run, I got bad news for you.
We both bought cars a year and a half ago.
Yeah. And I don't know how much access this is, but there's a company in my backyard called 700 Credit. And apparently they work with like 18,000 dealers. Sound familiar?
Oh boy.
Yeah, sound familiar, right? I'm talking about CDK there. I have fun with that, where we couldn't buy cars for a while. But they just announced in December that they had a breach.
Okay.
They're very quick to say that it wasn't their systems that got breached. It was a third party. Okay, well, you dig in with a third party, and they have 200 external partners they work with that have API connections into them. So all the data that 700 Credit has to run credit on people, your credit score, social security number, all the personal information that you have.
Sure.
They have 200 partners that are a part of that, and they have API access. Okay. One of their partners had a vulnerability in their API for a security flaw in the validation process. So it was unauthorized API access. They were able, yeah, I don't know. They don't say who the trusted partner was. They refuse to give more details on that. I'm sure once the class action lawsuit hits, that'll come out. But in July, that partner was compromised. They gained control of the partner system. They had access to communication logs and credentials, and they exposed 700 Credit's API for pulling consumer data. So that means they can pull any data on you. If you're in 700 Credit's databases, they can pull all of your credit information.
Great.
This went from July till October before they noticed it. Over that period,
they're not rotating keys.
No, but over that period, the hacker extracted roughly 20% of the consumer records that 700 Credit had. They noticed on or around October 25th from their breach notification that the attackers' sustained velocity of API queries, which just means that they were pulling at a higher rate, triggered a red flag. So okay. I'm wondering, and then 700 Credit immediately launched an investigation. They brought in third-party forensic specialists to assess what was happening. They realized what it was. They shut the API down in early November. So it was another 2 weeks. So they didn't shut it down for another 2 weeks.
Uh-oh.
But they got 5.8 million people's information. That's what they anticipate. That's what they estimate. And then they say, well, don't worry, guys. Our internal systems were not penetrated. No, you just fed all that information to people. So they had to, in December, or actually in November, they let 18,000 dealers nationwide know about the incident because that involves them, right? And because they submit the information, they go back to 700 Credit, blah blah blah. The National Automobile Dealers Association, or NADA, they helped prepare a consolidated breach notice to regulators on behalf of all the impacted dealers. So at least they did that. That's really cool on their end, because otherwise, if all 18,000 dealers had to submit breach notifications, I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for them anyway, because this involves 5.8 million people. But in early December, they finally acknowledged the breach. On December 15th, they filed official notifications with state attorneys generals and the FTC, so the Federal Trade Commission, and they confirmed that 5,836,521 individuals were affected. And starting on December 22nd, they were sending out written letters to all the consumers on behalf of the dealer's clients. You're only getting 12 months of credit monitoring and identity restoration services via TransUnion for those that are impacted. Yeah.
So this was the data. This was data they collected for car purchases.
They literally do the credit. They literally, I think, do like the credit.
They got the credit report.
Yeah, for the dealers, right? So they submit it, and then.
Okay.
So
Social Security, date of birth.
Oh yeah. You're fully comped, 100% comped. Like there's no. They were pulling the credit reports from the dealers, basically. The website has an interesting update. This is I don't know if this is the link they sent to the individuals, but it says 700 Credit regrets to inform you that our industry was attacked again by a bad actor who had unauthorized access to some of our personally identifiable information, including name, address, and social security number. The investigation is ongoing, and more importantly, there is no indication of any identity theft, fraud, or other misuse of the information in relation to this event. Now, to be fair, a lot of the people have probably already had their information stolen because data breaches are happening all the time. However, this would be relatively new, updated information if it just happened over 2025 or a 3-month period. So, they pledge to take extraordinary steps necessary to assist the consumers and notify required parties on behalf of the dealers, which we already talked about. It's gonna be interesting to see how much this comes back to them, because they're going to get sued. We've already seen this. We've seen this game played too many times. So, yep. There you go. So, if you bought a car, that's a problem. All these dealers, technically, since they chose 700 Credit, they're kind of on the hook in there. So there's going to be some legal fallout from this. But it's interesting it took them that long to discover that the attack was happening. So, like we talked about, they must have been slow playing the API request, so it didn't meet some threshold, and then suddenly maybe they ramped it up or whatever. They're getting impatient that it took that long to get 20%, and then that's when it triggered an alarm. But yeah, that's a long time to be siphoning data and go unnoticed. So, if you got a letter.
Well, actually, looking at 700 Credit at their website, it's actually more than just cars. Cars, RV, power sports, marine dealerships.
Yeah. I just said cars because it makes more sense. But
yeah.
Yep. Oh, you can use it for lead generation too. Sounds fun. No, but it's again another attack vector, another supply chain attack, right? So the dealers themselves weren't hacked. 700 Credit claims they weren't hacked, but a party that they trust. So you're a dealer, you trust 700 Credit, they trust 200 other vendors. One of those vendors gets comped, and now who suffers the most? The consumer. The consumer just went in and had their credit run, or
actually, I just did a quick search. JLR has got some numbers posted.
Do they?
Q3 sales slump.
Oh, I mean, if we're going to pivot over to Jaguar Land Rover,
Well, you were talking. We were wrapping up cars, and I did Jaguar. Jaguar just popped back into my head because it's our story that keeps going.
It comes back and just see what was this? Let's talk about their little All right. Wholesale volumes. Okay, here we go.
Wholesale volume fell 43%.
The retail sales fell 25%. Dang.
Almost 80,000 units they couldn't sell, and wholesale was down 60,000.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've kind of beat this one to death, honestly. I haven't paid so much attention to the suppliers flying bankruptcy. I'm hoping they kind of recover. Yep. But
so anyway, like you said, hopefully next week Matt will be back and back in the life of the living and moving, and all his upgraded parts will be working.
maybe we can see if he has a new identity theft protection coverage. But yeah, this is real life. So to take this into context, kind of wrap this up and just kind of talk about it from business context. How many people do you think about from your side? Like, who do you do business with, right? And then you have to trust who they're doing business with as well. And then this is a long chain, by the way. This chain could go on for a long time. All of that could affect you at the end of the day.
Sure.
So choose your vendors very carefully. Do your due diligence on a vendor. And even though you do due diligence, things can still happen. But, you got to do due diligence. You got to look at things. You got to understand who your customer does business, who your partner does business with, your vendors do business with. And ask the question. So ask the questions. Don't ever stop asking questions about this, because this is terrible for the end consumer, but it could be arguably worse for some of the businesses.
Absolutely.
That are affected. So on that down note, see you next week. Hopefully we do have Matt back, and stay safe out there.
Get